Alright guys, I'm here back with more Yakuza 5. Oh, what the fuck? Whatever. So, it's what, 11:24 right now. So obviously we're playing a Sagema here. Oh, fuck off. Whatever. Pushed that way too early, but whatever. I meant to finish that guy off and then turn. I pushed it like way too early, so he turned before finishing him off. Okay, this is a bit loud. Yeah, don't have much going on today, or at least hopefully I don't have much going on today. I do have today off, and yeah, the plan is just to play some Yakuza here and then work on some videos later. So, but I forgot that we can do this as oh fuck off, that was heat. Well, that was a waste. But wait, who's left? Oh, what the fuck? There's like three guys left. Oh, no, wait, yeah, okay, yeah, the person that's gone. What the fuck? But yeah, I do have some stuff come up before I start recording here, but got that done, ate breakfast / lunch, and, now, again, pretty much free for the next, like, 2 to 3 hours. Well, I mean, I'm free the entire day, but, I mean, I plan on recording here for the next, like, 2 to 3 hours. We'll see how it turns out, though. Oh, fuck off, dude. Like, I just want to finish this game. Like, we should get pretty close, I would think. By the end of today. Again, the goal was to finish it on Monday, and I think we're definitely on pace for that at this point. Especially now that we're, again, we already started the finale yesterday. Mind you, the finale is 5 chapters, which is really fucking annoying. So the finale is longer than any other fucking part in the game, chapter-wise at least. Fine. But, whatever. Nameless guitar? Well, what's better? Well, that's better than that one. What's Skyrocket again? Okay, I'll switch it off that. Wait, is that who we're no, we're going to Purgatory, right? That's what we're doing. I don't remember. Okay, I'm checking out my YouTube channel for the first time today. The Catherine video just sucks, doesn't it? Holy shit, that's doing really bad. It's only at 116 views now after almost 2 full days. Which might be my worst performing video in a while. Fuck, wrong way. Shit, sorry, I was responding to a text. Alright, I forgot, have we been to Purgatory in this game? No, right? Okay. Yeah, that was in the last game, right? But yeah, so yeah, Catherine video, pretty much doing exactly half of my Gokaiger video. So that's something, though I think within the last, like, day, I think it's only gotten, like, 10 views. Actually, maybe 15. I think it was at, like, 99 after the first day, and now it's at 100 and... Well, actually, no, it's technically... Well, okay, this is the confusing thing. On my, like, when I go to the actual video, it says 116, but on my dashboard, it says 114. I think the 116 is the accurate one. Because I think it's like, well, I'm betting it's accurate, quote-unquote accurate, because, like, I think the 2 views difference is me. I think the 114 is the views that it's gotten since it came out, but I think the 2 views outside of that are me viewing it before it came out, to make, like, double-checking it and stuff. So, Yeah. But then again, to be fair, even one of those other views are also me. So, like, essentially 3 of those views are me. But yeah, I mean, video bombed. I knew it was gonna bomb, but obviously it sucks to see it actually bomb. But whatever, right? Like, yeah, it's a video I was gonna do anyway. Like, there's no way I couldn't do it. Like, for me, it's like, Catherine is a game that meant so much to me at the time that to not do a video on it on its anniversary would just feel weird. And it's the same thing with Gokaiger. Even though the Gokaiger video like turned out to be a pleasant surprise of how many views it got. Mind you, it's not like it's doing fantastically or anything. Like, it's only at 500 views or whatever. Actually, it's like 400 something. But I mean, like, I think it'll easily reach 500 views. Yeah, it's like 418. It's actually maybe less than I thought. But either way, I think it'll easily reach 500 views. I should actually probably be paying attention to this, but I don't give a shit about this game, to be honest. But bizarrely, though, while views were down yesterday, and it looks like today they're gonna be really fucking down. Looks like views have, oh my god, actually, yeah, so far today's been terrible. But yeah, this month is gonna be really bad. Like, holy shit. I mean, like, the only thing that could save it is tomorrow. Oh, fuck off. But yeah, tomorrow is my what if video, which is pretty much, well, actually no, because like I'm gonna end up swapping. I mean, like, more than likely Big Brother Canada, more than likely the cast for that won't be coming out till like Wednesday, which means I'll probably have to release the Survivor Old School vs New School video early, which is fine. Like, I don't really give that much of a shit about that video anyway. We'll see how that does. And then Big Brother Canada at the end of the month. I mean, to be fair, I think the back half of this month is definitely stronger than the first half anyway. But still. Oh, it looks like Laser's Assassin's Creed video came out. Actually, you know what? Let's fucking watch it. Why not? Let's watch it during this. It's not like I'm fucking doing anything. I don't give a shit about this game. Let's watch the premiere. Why not? I really don't like premieres though on YouTube. Like, I never have. But whatever. Like, I get the purpose of them, but I just don't like it. But yeah, for some reason, yesterday, subscriber-wise, was, like, my best day in forever. It's bizarre, because it's, like, there's this, like, massive dip on Wednesday, because, like, I end up gaining subscribers, but I also end up losing the same amount of subscribers, so I came out of that day at net 0. Yeah, it is, like, it goes from, like, a decently high point, drops down to 0, and then goes up to a pretty decent point again yesterday. Whoa.
I feel it'd be wrong of me not to update this list every once in a while. I want to come at this slightly differently though. My opinions on this franchise remain largely the same as they always have, although when it comes to ranking the main releases, it sort of becomes arbitrary. I usually have a pile of good games that are interchangeable as my favourite, and a pile of bad games that are interchangeable as my least favourite, depending on the day or the argument that I'm making. I pick one. So what I've decided to do writing this is to base it on how I'm currently feeling, what I'm currently playing, and how that changes the way I feel about this entire franchise. I went back and watched my 2019 list, and I still completely agree with pretty much everything I said, but that doesn't mean the list will remain exactly the same. But regardless of that, this is my personal list. If you feel differently, let me know. I'm open to hearing what your favourite or least favourite is and why. Try not to lose your minds if I don't agree. Video game rankings really are an exercise in maturity to a certain degree, so let's not turn the comments into a toxic shit-flinging contest. Mature discussions and disagreements are welcome. So without further ado, let's begin.
So Bomb's Odyssey.
Right, let me just do some further ado. This video was sponsored by the online learning community Skillshare. Skillshare offers classes on a bunch
of so I mean, like, I would predict
going in and being able to find new ways to spend their time.
Odyssey's at the bottom. Probably
super affordable Well, and
Rogue or Syndicate are the next two.
And you're getting access to a ton of classes on things you might want to learn.
Then Unity.
Potential career paths, learning these skills.
Then
I've
3.
been using it to learn a little bit more of After Effects. I already knew the basics.
Or maybe Valhalla.
That I took, but I wanted to delve a little
Then
bit deeper.
3.
This has been a great opportunity to do so. Also, don't forget
And
it's
Origins.
still available to you. The first 1,000 people to hit the link down in the
And
description.
then
Trial of Skillshare.
after that, it's like kind of arbitrary. But after that, probably. I don't know. I mean, after that, it's like a bit all over the place because that's like all. It's the Ezio Trilogy 1 and Black Flag, so it's like I don't think it really matters.
Check it out with my link and decide to learn a new skill. Tweet the results to me on I'd love to know what you've been learning to do using Skillshare. At number 12, we have Assassin's Creed Odyssey.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Come on, I said that out loud. Now dubbed my least favourite Assassin's Creed game, and you know why. I'm not even going to dedicate a portion of this video to going into the details of why. I've said my piece on this absolute fucking travesty, and if you want to know why I feel the way that I do about this game in far more detail than it deserves, check out Assassin's Creed Odyssey Broke Me. I'll link it below.
Well, he really just like skips through it. Like he doesn't even bother talking about it. Okay, cool.
Number 11 is
Syndicate, yeah.
Syndicate. This game is one that I often forget exists, and it has slowly creeped to be lower and lower on this list over the years. For some reason, when I finished it back in 2015, I felt happy with it. I talked about this before, but I think it was because Unity was such a disaster. This game felt better in a lot of ways, but it's really only surface level. In its design philosophy and its narrative, it's just so poor, and I'd definitely argue worse than Unity, although for entirely different reasons as to why Unity is bad. Evie is a character I genuinely quite like a bit. It's just sad to see that she's sidelined so we can play as her obnoxious brother for 80% of the game. The movement is restricted more than it already was, and that's partly due to the awful choice of setting, as it very much doesn't lend itself to an Assassin's Creed title. As you can tell by the fact they had to invent the rope launcher to even make traversal viable. That should have been their first red flag to realise they had the wrong setting. The historical figures are treated like celebrities with their big pop-up title cards, and the entire narrative treats the audience like we're idiots. All of these things mixed with the over-the-top combat and unnecessary, constant and awful comedy makes this game feel like a
I
parody.
really love Bloodlines though as a
There are
song.
genuinely some strong moments within this game, like visiting the Kenway Manor with Henry Green and Evie, seeing all of Edward's possessions, and the fact that the password to enter his hidden room is playing the notes to Lowlands, one of the shanties from Black Flag, on the piano, which is so incredibly subtle, as we know that that song reminded Edward very much of his late wife Caroline, along with moments like Sean talking about the loss of Desmond and what he meant to him. The way their relationship grew and they became close friends,
That's my
only to
internet
a
being
move like
such shit.
Angelina doing an epic jump scare on Sean. It's a perfect example of how this game simply doesn't understand itself,
Oh, okay.
and sadly becomes entirely forgettable.
Then Rogue. Yep.
Assassin's Creed Rogue
That's
is
right.
next on our list.
Then next is
Again,
Unity, I'm
Rogue's
sure. Fuck off. Why is my internet being so shit?
More and more as time goes on. The only reason it's above Syndicate really is because it takes itself seriously. It might fail what it attempts to do, but at least it's not one big joke. Rogue is often
Fuck
held as
off,
the most
dude.
underrated Assassin's Creed game, but honestly, all I see is it being overrated by almost everybody. From a gameplay perspective, it's Black Flag, but bad.
Why? Why is my
What
internet
you're
being so
doing is
shit?
so much lesser than Black Flag.
You know,
and so
fuck it. Let's go to 140 fucking 144p.
around the Caribbean as a pirate in command of your crew, which ultimately loses its points. On top of that, all the side activities are so contrived.
It's not even going to
Suffers
140p,
from
by
the
the way.
worst
Oh, there we go.
collectibles in the franchise, being that there are so fucking many. They littered the map with collectibles, and it's honestly hilarious sometimes just looking at the map and seeing what they think passes for content. As for the narrative of this game, oh boy, do I have a lot to say. Rogue boasts being a game that follows the Templars. You get to see things from the other side, but
Fuck off. How is my internet this
all they
bad?
do is switch the names. The assassins
Yeah.
from the start act very much like Templars. They're controlling, they're secretive, they're belittling, and they have no regard for the lives of the innocent. Switch over to the Templars, and they literally act like assassins, saving people, respecting Shay, who they take in, and trying to stop the assassins from misusing Isu sites. It's so horribly insulting as a narrative, and I cannot believe anyone genuinely looks at this and thinks it's anything but terrible. Oh my god, that was so good! So I think we gotta clap, we gotta give it a clap. Enjoyed that thoroughly, that was freaking great. Oh my god, that was a really good Monday as well. They did really awesome with Monday. Payton is honestly out of character, and the assassins literally have gangs in the city.
Fuck off,
that
dude,
flying the
man.
assassin flags high in the sky as a beacon to their enemies. Literally the antithesis of what Altair's intentions were when reforming the Brotherhood centuries before. The game was a quick cash-in on the success of Black Flag without truly
Maybe it's just
understanding
because
what
of
made
its
Black Flag
it being a
great. Rogue
premiere.
is a shallow and forgettable experience.
You know, let's actually go back 10
What
seconds
Altair's
and just see
intentions were
this.
when reforming the Brotherhood centuries before. The game was a quick cash-in on the success of Black Flag without truly understanding what made
See if
Black
that
Flag
fixes
great.
things.
Rogue is a shallow and forgettable experience that is truly insulting to anyone who's followed the franchise for its entirety.
Now Unity. Yep.
Assassin's Creed Unity. What a polarizing game this is these days. I remember in 2014...
The question is what's next. I think 3 and Valhalla are going to be back
It
to
was
back.
hated by the entire games industry and AC fans alike, and for good reason. These days, for whatever reason, it's championed by a lot, and I do think I understand why. With the increasing move away from classic Assassin's Creed stories in the newer entries, Unity on paper does everything that we want them to do. Assassin-focused, strong urban environment with immersion at the forefront, lots of tools, a focus on stealth being part of the Brotherhood, and a much shorter yet much more personal focused story. I get why Unity has become such a popular game as of recent, but sadly, despite the fact that on paper it looks to be like a killer Assassin's Creed game, its execution is still exactly the same as it was in 2014, a half-baked attempt.
Okay.
The story for one is a misstructured mess. It comes across like the first draft of what could have been a really thought-provoking narrative about the unity of Assassins and Templars, along with the reformation of ideas that are no longer serving in the best interests of the Creed. But sadly, the focus wasn't on that. It's cast away toward the midpoint, which...
So yeah, Valhalla 3 and Origins are next. I think probably it's going to be Valhalla.
It's a climax.
Actually, I don't know. It might be Origins, actually.
A man who is quite literally a nothing character who serves no purpose to any story they try to tell. That, along with the still buggy and messy gameplay and level structure, shows to me that this game needed more time. Perhaps another year in the oven could have resulted in the greatest Assassin's Creed to ever be made. All the ideas are there, it just needed to be put together more carefully. It needs to be polished, refined, and adjusted to be a well-rounded piece of media, but sadly, it was pushed out the door too early by money-hungry execs who can't see 2 feet in front of them to calculate the long-term implications of such a decision. I have a lot more sympathy for Unity's release now than I ever did. I understand why people adore it, and I can't really blame you after the recent entries, but for me, it remains the disappointment it was on release. A game beaming with potential that was never realised and remains a sad, sorry excuse for a game.
I think Origins. What is that? Oh, 3. Okay, he did put 3 low. Okay.
Very, very long time, I consider it the worst game in the series. And hear me out. The reason for this is because I've been playing the series since 2007, and when they finally came to this game, it should have been so much more.
Yeah, I knew 3 used to be his... I forgot if it was worst or second worst at that time. Well, it's probably second worst, but... and for a long time it was the worst, but I know he talked more positively about it recently. So maybe he jumped it up, but...
It just fell flat in many regards. The movement itself was dumbed down, nowhere near as bad as what came in the years after, but compared to how strong Revelations was, AC3 was far more automated and you had a lot less control. The combat, although looking flashy, is so much lesser in a lot of ways. How you have to complete animations before it'll do damage rather than your sword or axe making contact with the enemy. The setting was absolutely nothing compared to Renaissance Italy or the Holy Land during the Third Crusade. And after we had this incredible story in Revelations tying together Ezio, Altair and Desmond in such an incredible and meaningful way, AC3 just felt so generic and lackluster. In a lot of ways, Revelations is an AC3 in everything but title. AC3 feels much more like an offshoot, disconnected in pretty much every way. The modern day, although it's championed by so many, sadly misses the mark for me. Modern day was never about doing epic fighting and action reskinned to look modern. It was about character development, exploring historical places through a modern lens, about building relationships and exploring mystery, solving puzzles using your brain. AC3 has very little of that. Any dialogue is mostly expositional and doesn't feel like real people talking. Connor is a failure of character writing in the sense that he does not develop at all, and the only scrap of development was cut from the game for whatever reason. He goes from being a naive child to a naive adult, and just continues murdering Templars because they're Templars, never questioning what they're saying, never evolving, never learning. It's frustrating to no end. That being said, however, I've come to appreciate a lot more of what this game has to offer. After many years of feeling disdain at what the game made me feel in 2012, there's almost an element of nostalgia that allows for me to revisit this game from a new lens. For example, the simple fact that the direction of the game is far more in line with Assassin's Creed than anything we've had in recent years is comfortable to me, it's familiar. Hate Them is a huge joy, every scene he's in, every piece of dialogue is distinct Assassin's Creed, and it's written with such an understanding of the nuance behind the century-old war between these two factions. The Homestead offers probably the best settlement upgrade system we've seen in the franchise to date, including meaningful missions for all of your friends and their relationships with Connor. They're truly well written and actually present Connor in a much different light to the main story. The assassin recruits you can acquire and complete story arcs for are done in a very well designed way, allowing for the player to liberate districts of each city to eventually take down a major Templar target, all whilst developing a recruit alongside. And the Captain Kidd treasure missions are really cool additions. Despite not being quite as fun to actually play as the Assassin 2 missions from the Ezio trilogy, the concept of visiting a new area to play a set-piece mission is really enjoyable, and they're very strong aspects of the game. AC3 does offer things to enjoy, and they're things that I can see a lot more clearly now. It is still lackluster in a lot of ways, and I do still feel disappointment by it, but as of 2021, almost 10 years after release, I'm happy to say that there's a lot more positives that I can focus on, and I do appreciate them, which is why it's moved up my list significantly.
Alright. I'm assuming we're going to be playing as either Akiyama or the baseball guy. I forgot his name, or Shinada. Origins, okay, that's right. Then Valhalla. Sucks.
It's not dropped significantly for me, although the cracks do show more now than they did prior. I feel that what Origins did was a somewhat middle ground between the RPG games and the classic games, but honestly, maybe too much. The structuring is a bit mismanaged, level gating quests so that you have to do a bunch of mindless side quests before progressing, and that playing into the fatigue the game makes you feel as you trudge your way through it. Bayek as a character is incredible, despite the writing not always being there. The performance never falters, and Ubukasa Lim is easily one of, if not my favourite performance of this entire franchise. The life and essence he gives Bayek is just unmatched. The range of emotions he can portray in a convincing and meaningful way just connects me to this character even when the writing may fall flat. Sadly, as an origin story, it doesn't really offer all too much. It's a very typical revenge story in which the assassins just sort of happen to be born out of nowhere. There's not much philosophy and not much discussion or explanation, it just sort of happens. There are hidden ones now, I guess. No actual formation of a creed, tenets, or a maxim. The DLC does try to do bits of this with the creation of the tenet to never harm an innocent, but it's sidelined with DLC and it's only one tenet. It feels half-baked in a lot of ways. The Port of Egypt is stunning, and exploring these ancient locations is still a joy, and I do feel that although my hatred for the question mark on the map system, exploration is still enjoyable even if discovery is dampened by the fact that everything of note is marked on the map. My biggest issue is that Origin marks the change in direction for Assassin's Creed. Post this game is where everything is based on numbers and stats. The worlds are simply massive with so much mindless fluff, and the identity of this brand becomes muddy and lost more than ever. Movement is simplified to be just climbing rather than meaningful parkour and advanced movements, and the stealth system becomes far lesser with the removal of social stealth and actual assassinations. Origins is a game that, while it does a lot very competently, it plays it too safe in a lot of areas. We've seen Assassin's Creed shine when it tries to tell complex narratives and delve deeper into its own mythos, but Origins stays comfortably on the surface and spelled the beginning of the end for this brand's identity.
Now Valhalla. Yep.
The newest entry into the Assassin's Creed series was a pleasant surprise, to say the least. After Origins removed a lot of core elements and dumbed down the origin story, honestly did away with Assassin's Creed altogether.
I don't think the top 5 really matters. Like, I think they're all very close.
Hardcore old school fans who jumped on way back when, the new brand of fans who are into this new way of facing content. It's a tough job, I don't envy them at all. I'm currently on my second playthrough of Valhalla, preparing for my in-depth look at exactly how I feel about Valhalla and why, the ups and downs, and I want to get it as right as I can, so it's taking me a while to prepare. That being said, I'm pretty confident that I do like this game. There's a lot within the game that I hate, but there's a lot within the game that I love. It leads me to believe that I do just like the game. I don't love it, I don't hate it, I feel both for a lot of reasons. Overall, I do like Valhalla. Whether you enjoy this game or not will depend on the kind of fan you are, and I feel that at times it tries too hard to please everyone and ends up pleasing nobody. The focus of this game is on Viking fantasy, which is why I played these games to begin with. I played to be an assassin, I want the assassin fantasy. And one thing I love about this game is that you can very much play as an assassin if you want. The issue being, the game doesn't really want you to. Abel doesn't really want you to, and so you're left with this disconnect. The game allows for the player to use social stealth, to wear a hood, to explore hidden bureaus, and to read codex pages, use a hidden blade, all of the things you'd expect. However, the context in which those things occur sort of render them pointless and throwaway, and that's a huge issue that I have. All the things that are fundamentally Assassin's Creed exist for the player, but not for Eivor, which makes them meaningless narratively. I still very much enjoy what they did with the modern day and where they take Eivor and her development, but I can't help but feel the game is torn between two very different extremes and ends up somewhere awkwardly in the middle. Despite that, and despite what I love, this game is one I can say I enjoy playing, for better or worse. I enjoy the game itself, and there's so much nuance to it. I'd rather I just hated the game. It would make making this video I'm working on so much fucking easier. But the fact is, I don't hate the game. There's so much in this game that I really like. And not just assassin things, there's lots of general game stuff I enjoy too. It's much more well balanced to put together than Origins, and certainly Odyssey, but I do have fun with the game itself outside of an Assassin's Creed lens, and that's important for discussing the quality of the product as well. Like I said, I have a video planned that I'm still working on, and once it's done, I'll link it in the description. So if you're watching this video 6 months after it went up, then my Valhalla video is probably already out, so go give it a watch.
さっきのこちらからの提案を飲んでいただくためのものです。
Black Flag is a
Black
game
Flag
that
that low,
gets better
okay.
and better the more years go by.
I'm surprised
A story
it's that low.
that begins from the point of view of an outsider and tells a
I mean, like, it's where it was before, but it's like, I thought he would have moved up on it.
Purpose that finds that purpose within the Creed. This entire franchise was created around the exploration of the Assassin's Creed. That's why it's called what it is. The first game explores the Assassin's Creed through the lens of somebody that needs to relearn what it means to be an assassin, and by doing so frees himself from an inner tyranny and that of the Brotherhoods in the form of his own mentor. Black Flag is really the first game since AC1 that deals with the Assassin's Creed as a central focus. What does it mean to be an assassin? What does it mean to be a Templar? How do these two ideologies that are forever at odds affect the life of a man searching for purpose, searching for reason, searching for freedom? Eivor Kenway is the perfect catalyst for this transformation. He's a man who means well, a man who is deeply caring, trying to forge the best life he can for himself and his loved ones. In doing so, pushing all of these people away, he loses so much and so many until he realizes that those connections, those relationships, are the purpose. Humanity, love, and care are the reason for existence to Edward, and in seeking that instead of gold, ultimate glory, he can find purpose in the assassin. This is an assassin-adjacent story that slowly becomes a deeply connected Assassin's Creed story about what it means to be an assassin, to someone who lives on the outside of this conflict. That being said, the gameplay is where this falters slightly, and I don't mean the basic moment-to-moment gameplay, I'm also mean the structuring of missions. There are so many tailored missions in this game that act as important dialogue or exposition, and you can't help but feel this game maybe would work better as a novel in a lot of ways. However, it is very strong in the gameplay and exploration department, with Black Flag possibly having the best open world they've ever built. The open space is large and vast, with plenty of negative space filled with wandering and odd islands to explore, as well as the more linear segments of jungles and beaches in which you progress to make nicely curated parkour and action set piece in order to discover collectibles or progression. You obviously then, of course, have the city areas like Havana, Kingston, and Nassau for you to explore as well, and a more classic Assassin's Creed style. Everything you do with Edward in this game plays into the journey they try to tell, and also this transformation from a selfish pirate type to an assassin. Sure, for the most part you're playing as a pirate who does assassin things, but the reason this works and doesn't feel tacked on is because it means something come the end, unlike Valhalla. You aren't learning assassin things to help push forward a pirate story, you're learning assassin things to eventually allow Edward to make that move from pirate to assassin along his own personal journey. It's meaningful gameplay-wise and story-wise. Assassin's Creed 4 Black Flag is subtle in its approach. It tells an engaging and well-paced story and allows for a killer pirate and assassin fantasy placed in a great personal story that strings the player along every step of the way. I can completely understand why people say this is their favorite of the series. It does everything to earn that title, and I can't argue against it.
Revelations? Or was that one? That's one, okay.
Will forever hold a special place in my heart. I even considered this time placing it at number 1, but I stopped myself due to the fact that I know it's not the best. And I mean, the point of this list is a ranking based on my entirely subjective opinion, where I rank them based on my own history with this brand, etc. And I easily can make an argument for AC1 being at the very top, but when I started to look at it, it just didn't make sense to me. I love Assassin's Creed 1 now more than I ever did before, and that's saying a lot. I loved Assassin's Creed 1 from the first moment I played it back in 2007. Assassin's Creed 1 is a very niche title. It was never trying to appeal to the mainstream, it just was what it was and somehow became the cultural phenomenon that it is after that. And I think that's why you find a lot of criticisms with Assassin's Creed 1, because people jumped into this franchise with the newer games, or even with AC2, see AC1 as inferior and not really that good. And don't get me wrong, I understand why people feel that way, I just disagree wholeheartedly. To explain why, it comes from my own personal attachment to AC1, of course. Let's get that out of the way. This game is very special to me, but also I just feel it does things in tone, narrative and gameplay that were at the time very impressive and hold up very well today. Despite the lack of things to do in the open world areas, it uses them in a way that is very smart. AC1 is a linear game. It uses the open world as a backdrop. That's really what it does. It's not an open world game in the traditional sense. It's very much a linear game placed into a large open space for the player to move around it. Now, the structure of each assassination is the same to an extent. You arrive at a city, do an investigation, do the assassination, escape, and leave the city. But the game itself handles that structure in a way that I feel no.
Alright, we're gonna end here, I
For a
think, in a
start, every new
second.
assassination is in a new place, a new district or city you visit.
Where are we right now? Well, let's do this first.
The target you face fit their respective regions perfectly, with Garnier, the doctor, operating out of the poor district of Acre. When the buildings are falling apart, people are dead in the streets. There's a high presence of guards, beggars, and criminals, and you can see these things as you wander the streets. The environmental storytelling plays into the
we're all the way
the target
up there.
hunting and adds to the atmosphere. And likewise,
Alright, well, let's just head towards the safe point.
rich district of the city. There are wider streets, tons of vendors and bazaars with people selling wares, much taller and more lavish buildings with a better standard of living. The environmental storytelling tells another tale. Couple the way the game uses environment to convey narrative and atmosphere with the investigation missions, action, dialogue, and you can
shit.
picture of the target you're tracking before you ever meet them. Building tension, building suspense. When you finally come into contact with your target, you feel cautious, you feel under threat. You can cut through the tension in the air with a knife because although it's simple and basic on the surface, it's used in such a way to create this atmosphere that is simply not matched in Assassin's Creed to this day. The exploration of the Creed is beyond interest.
Actually, I would be interested in re-watching my Assassin's Creed ranking video. So I actually don't remember. It's probably pretty bad now in retrospect, especially considering I didn't have a good mic at that time. But I would be interested in rewatching it, considering that took a lot of fucking time. Like that literally took me, I think, like days to edit. I think it took me like 3 days worth to edit.
Now, Assassin's Creed 2 used
Assassin's Creed 2, good.
For many years, and it's fallen down to number 3 for a few reasons. Don't get me wrong, everything number 5 upwards on this list could be number 1. I fucking adore all these. So, AC2 being number 3 really means nothing, but I'll explain it. I think it's just...
No, I think we'll do that in a second.
DLC and the main game are kind of inseparable at this point. A lot of people don't even realise that sequels 12 and 13 are part of the main game because it's almost impossible to get a version of Assassin's Creed 2 now that doesn't include them. And they certainly drag down the pace a lot towards the end, and that's really good. The game itself, though, is, of course, a step up from AC1.
I fucking love Akiyama's fighting style, though. Do you have money? Because like we're right next to the drugstore. Okay.
Building up Monteriggioni is absolutely brilliant, and that whole aspect of the game.
Yeah, after lasers things. Oh, okay, toughness infinity. Yeah, we don't need it then, do we?
Engaging, it was almost subtly underlying rather than the sense of which, although I love, it's hard to argue that AC2 didn't do better. But most of the reasons why this game
yeah, okay, we'll head to that
it acts
same
not
point
only
here.
as a sequel in terms of modern day, but and history as well. Ezio's progression is deeply alien.
Oh, fuck off, dude.
But we learn more about Altair's later life through this progression. Altair invented the poison blade, the hidden gun, hidden blades, and assassination techniques. Not just that, we wrote about his life through the Codex page. This game is not just a sequel to Desmond and his story, but a direct character sequel too. We even get to play as Altair for a small portion of the game, showing he's not forgotten and entirely relevant to the sequel. His story did not end at the end of his story. Altair is a huge part of Ezio's growth and development. Not to mention, this game introduces us to my favourite fictional character of all time, Ezio Auditore, a man that has so many layers to him, so much development progression that I made a whole damn video specifically about that, which again, I'll link below. Assassin's Creed 2 is a timeless game that understands what makes great gameplay, it understands what makes great storytelling and characters, and it understands what it means to be Assassin's Creed.
So number 2 is Revelations. Yep.
I could have made this number one. I really
Yeah.
wanted to, but there were a few things stopping me. Revelations is the greatest script in this franchise, the greatest Assassin's Creed story ever told, and and it's genuinely not even close for me. The only one thing stopping me from putting this at number 1 is purely the pacing and structure at times. Sometimes it feels the missions don't flow naturally one to another, and the side content mainly is quite lacking when compared to Brotherhood. That, as well as the modern day being just a few pieces of audio that Desmond hears in a coma, doesn't exactly live up to what Brotherhood did, but then again, that's really a consequence of circumstance more than it is poor direction on their part. But that being said,
we'll end here. Next Pikachu on, so thank you for watching.
the fact that it was turned from a